Hey guys, it's your favorite Unk here. Go ahead and click that subscribe button below so you don't miss a single episode of Nightcap. That button right here. Come for the sports, stay for the stories. Pat McAfee, I guess he watched us this morning. And Lord, he had some coffee. He probably had an energy drink. Do we have his sound? We can't play his sound. Monica. Well, I know you've heard it by now. I think Pat got a little bit too amped. He forgot, like, man, this live. Normally we have a conversation like this, Monica, you and your girls off air. But we got a microphone and we got a camera with a red dot going. So what did you think when you heard P Mac start going?
So I didn't actually watch it, but I read the transcript and all the articles that came down. Honestly, y'all, my first thought was, okay, here we go with this not being about race. Right? From a person who is white, right? And again, this is where I say, and I'm speaking honestly, clearly, concisely. This is where I say multiple things can be true, right? I wonder what this would look like if Caitlin Clark was Black. She's proud of who she is. That's fantastic, right? But this is where all the layers of this conversation come in.
Right.
The WNBA is a predominantly Black women's league. It's also largely a queer league, right? And the gender, sexuality, race, it's hard to parse this out of that conversation, at least for me as a woman, because I can't walk away from any part of who I am, right? So his point about the other white chicks in the league that have been buckets, sure, Stewie's the MVP. KP has won multiple championships with the Las Vegas Aces. DT, obviously, we had a conversation about her as a GOAT, right? But to act as if there is no space to sit back and just wonder, again, all I'm asking for folks that have just joined is to open your mind. Ultimately, you may disagree, and that's fine, but you should be able to hold space to evaluate all the pieces that seem to be at play. Now, if you decide to pick up 3 instead of 6, that's on you. But you got to be able to sit back and acknowledge all the pieces at play, just out of respect for humanity at large, I would say.
Monica, you said something very interesting, and you would know better than I. But I was thinking this, but I never said it. But since you brought it up, let's go here. How much do you think predominantly Black queer helps or hurt the WNBA?
That's a loaded question, Shannon. I think the W in the last few years has done a great job of leaning into who they are. They are not hiding who these women are, and these women are not hiding who they are. One thing about this rookie class has been their willingness to share their lives. But I had a chance to catch a great documentary this summer, courtesy of the WNBA PA, and I'm blanking on the name of the documentary, and I apologize, but it highlighted Jonquel Jones, Breanna Stewart, and Nneka Ogwumike, right? And as veterans in this league, JJ's been an MVP. Nneka Ogwumike has won a title and been an MVP. Stewie obviously has been a multi-time MVP and won championships. As veterans, they talked very honestly about opening up their lives, right? Because that was a big choice for them. And one of the commentators, Lindsey Gibbs, in that piece talked about being able to enjoy this league and celebrate these women even more when you get to know them, right? And I think that star power of this rookie class growing up with social media, Caitlin has 2 million, Angel has 3 million, right? They've already been used to sharing their lives. Right. And so I think the W has leaned in on who they are, but as new audiences are getting to know these women, hopefully they find a way to strike a chord with them beyond just being basketball players. And so candidly, I'm not 100% sure what happens in marketing meetings when you begin to look at who you want to partner up with the WNBA. Because like we started this conversation, gender, race, and sexuality are parts of conversations that you just cannot escape.
Okay. The documentary you're talking about is called Shattered Glass.
There it is.
NBA PA story.
Thank you.
I'm glad you have this conversation because at the end of the day, you like, people like, well, go market. But at certain time, certain demographics you're trying to market to. Because like when we go out, okay, we have to pitch. Okay, who are you trying to reach? We Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, we might not be able to reach who an advertiser or a sponsor try to reach. So it doesn't make sense for them to give us money if the people that they're trying to reach are not watching Nightcap, not watching Club Shay Shay. Right. And so what you're saying, Monica, is like, okay, we got to appeal to the people that you're trying to reach. Mm-hmm. But to say that gay and queer people don't buy health and don't buy auto insurance is just not true. To say they don't go grocery shopping or buy cars is just not true. Mm-hmm. So they are people. They might have chosen an alternative life that's outside of the norm, whatever norm is. There's a new definition of norm now. But I believe that you can reach people because everybody that watches television, they're a consumer. You buy something, whether it's food, whether it's auto insurance, whether it's whatever the clothing, whatever the case may be. You'll purchase something.
And when it comes to marketing and branding and WNBA and those that are queer or part of that community in general, that community always sticks together and support each other. So the marketing on that end should be easy anyway. It's common sense, especially when it comes to the higher ups and the execs that are sitting in positions of power. That's a no-brainer as far as when it comes to marketing and branding and doing it that way. Now, if they want some ideas, from the true number one marketer and brander himself, I can guide them in which way to go and know how to do it. Like that's what I did.
You might need to get to some boardroom tables, Ocho.
Monica, let me ask you this. Because, a lot of times we used to have who was in that room? Why are you trying to, market the blacks and there's no blacks in the commercial? Would it help if there were queer, gay in the rooms that could say, hey, guys, they have purchasing power. I don't know. I'm in California. Man, they shut down We Hope. Gay pride is a big thing there. So somebody drinking beers, buying cocktails, and buying clothes, Monica. I'm just saying, somebody doing that.
Yeah, and listen, the marketing has improved, right? But if we wanted to get into the weeds, and gosh, oh man, I should have pulled up all my research because there was a wonderful article done, I want to say about 2 seasons ago, that looked at what demographic still, in terms of representing the WNBA, still got the lion's share of marketing opportunities. And it was largely straight white women. Now, in 2 years, I do believe that there have been improvements made in that area, right? And like I said, the WNBA has leaned into who they are. These women are leaning into who they are. There's a number of queer athletes out of W that I can think of that have had commercials and are currently in commercials that are still airing. And it's beautiful to see. And so I do think that things are changing. But just like in society, y'all, as painful as it is, right? When we start having conversations about this societal totem pole, people, especially women that sit at identities, shout out to Dr. Alfie, my girl, that have intersectional identities, often don't have privilege. And so they're minimalized a little bit, or not a little bit, they become minimalized. And so that's a whole nother loaded conversation. And I'm not trying to tell anybody that they can't be a fan of this player or that player. But as you join this WNBA fanfare, welcome. It's room for everybody. There have been 28 years of groundwork, and there have been numbers of opportunities of research, right? And then when you look at the demographics of this league, just keep your mind open to what is the reality of someone else's experience that may not look like you. That's the part that's frustrating to me in this conversation, y'all. One, to hear ex-athletes say, oh, just let her do whatever. And 2, folks that aren't taking the time to just do a little bit of digging about what the WNBA has been, how powerful these women have used their voices, what they stand for, because it's beautiful.
It is. And thank you for opening up and sharing that with us. I mean, you being around the game, you playing the game, you being a woman yourself, you're better to speak to this in Ocho than I, because you're in that situation. There's no better person to speak to about a woman than a woman. And so sometimes, as men, we try to sit back and I don't know what it's like to have a baby. Never had one. I don't want them kind of problems. So I like women, when women talk about women issues. Yeah, I can have an opinion, but I'm just speaking at it from a man's point of view. And sometimes we only see things through the prism in which we are. If I'm looking from a mountaintop, I don't know what it's like in the valley because I'm on top of the mountain looking out. You being a woman playing basketball, playing in the WNBA, who better to speak to issues like this than a person like yourself? But how often, when things like this, do the WNBA, the PA, do they have you speak to the women that's coming into how many times do you go out and speak to women's group, being who you are, being the platform that you do have? Are you given those opportunities to speak up for women?
So I was gonna let you rock with this, but I gotta check you one thing on my resume. I decided that I was done after college and wasn't about to dabble in the W. So I did not play in the W. But I'm gonna have to get with the Chad Ochocinco agency to get me some more speaking engagements per your
whatever you need. Listen. I have a marketing firm, a branding firm. So anything you need, just holler at me. I can get the ball rolling. I got you.
Yeah, I all jokes aside, I have had the opportunity to speak not just to women's teams, but like last year I had a chance to rap with the Los Angeles Rams, right? And just offering a different perspective as a member of the media. I do know that our friends and colleagues, China Robertson and Nneka Ogwumike, led a great media preparation session for the rookies coming in this season. And so the W and the PA are about giving their players resources, as are the NBA, right? And so the league is just continuing to grow. And when you talk about its male counterpart, it has a 50-year head start.
Right. Monica, I think the thing is a lot of times, and people's like, well, I think the thing what really got it trending at the end is that you said, Stephen A., you had this platform and you're doing it now, but you probably should have done this a lot sooner. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm going to address that, but I have Club Shay Shay. Mm-hmm. And people are like, well, why did you have more women? I've reached out to women that play or played in the WNBA, and I get no returns. I've had one lady, she's not a professional basketball player. 2 days before, she's like, I'm gonna have to reschedule, and now my team can't get a hold of her. So I've tried to give women, because I got a nice size platform. So I want to give you an opportunity to share, tell whatever story that you want to tell. You want to talk about your upbringing. You want to talk about your life as a professional athlete. You as an entertainer or a celeb, have at it. But it's not as easy as you think, Monica, because a lot of times women say no.
I'm about to stop you right now. I believe you, but I'm gonna also say this because I had to think twice before I said yes, because I done seen some Nightcap clips, okay? And you do have to ask yourself, is this a safe space, right? And so I believe you when you say you want to have that conversation, right? But I think because of the opportunities to brand for women are a little bit, hold on, let me get my words right. The opportunities for women to build their brands are so heavily scrutinized, right? That you probably think more dutifully before you say yes to an opportunity, depending on how it fits and if you feel that the space is safe. So I don't know why people are saying yes or no to you, but honestly, like if we ain't had this thing this morning, like I would not have thought of myself as a Nightcap guest just based on the clips that I've seen. And I've met Ocho in person. I've obviously met you in person. I think y'all are great guys, but like, I'm not going to tell y'all what goes down in my bedroom. Like, right? And so you do just wonder if spaces are safe. And so as you continue to grow your platform, I would encourage you maybe to offer the topics in advance. And you may have done this already, right?
Yeah. I always ask any guest, is there anything that you're uncomfortable with? I ask a question. You can also say, well, Shannon, you know, that question that you asked me earlier and I talked about, can you not air that? Boom, we take it out.
Yeah, I got you.
Because I want you to be, most of the time when people come, they're speaking their truth. Now, if I ask you a question and you tell me what went down in your bedroom, how am I being messy? You could have said, Shannon, now you know I ain't gonna answer that.
Now, I am savvy, but I don't know if you guys might feel a little pressure to keep up with the Joneses on Nightcap. I don't speak to other people now, Ocho. I know y'all can get a little wild on here.
We get, but see, that's the thing. They come for the sports, they stay for the stories. Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of like Monica, a game. Let's just say for the sake of argument, I'll let you into the arena for free, but I charge you to get out. You see what I'm saying? That's what I
Now listen, all jokes aside, I do want to address the end of that clip. I genuinely was surprised by the reaction. And I did not intend to make it personal. But when I look at Stephen A. and my relationship with Stephen A., he the head honcho at ESPN as far as I'm concerned. Yes, and I have been in this women's basketball space for so long and have been privy to many a conversation pushing and pitching and asking for space. So from where I sit, if SA says, let's talk about it, it's going to be discussed, right?
Right.
He and I have had a conversation tonight. Okay, cool. There are things that play that maybe I did not consider when I made that statement. But what I do stand by is that the way that the WNBA is being covered this season just started in May, this particular season is at a different fervor and tenor than it was 3 years ago. Now, whatever factors go into that, be that as it may. But 3 years ago, we were not having these conversations about the WNBA as we are now. And that is just a fact.
Yeah, well, we weren't having this conversation 3 months ago.
Fair enough.
But you said, Monica, it's never too late to do the right thing.
Absolutely. And I think that some people will be like, oh, nobody was talking about, like you. I heard you at the end of that show. You lucky Molly had to go to break. You talking about stuff. Monica, you proving his point because nobody was talking about Kayla Clark at 3 years ago. I heard your old Southern sass back there. Now, this is where we have to really argue and tussle with this idea of cart before the horse or horse before the cart, right? And I know we don't TV work, Shannon. Just like you said, Ocho, you can talk about the Cowboys, you can talk about the Lakers. Like, there are these things that hit. And so I understand the idea that the WNBA may not have been drawing the same numbers that it is now 3 years ago. But again, two things can be true. That doesn't necessarily mean that those women, prior to the arrival of this rookie class, were still not worthy of coverage.